This chair looks harmless, doesn't it? Comfortable, a place of rest, a reward at the end of a long day. For one of my patients, a man I'll call Frank, this chair was his throne, but it was also his prison. Frank was a man who had built a legacy, a retired engineer, a grandfather who could fix anything, a storyteller who held the entire family captive with tales of his youth. But silently, something was stealing his vitality. It wasn't a disease you could name with a dramatic diagnosis. It was a slow, creeping thief. It started with a little hesitation at the urinal. Then, the urgent need to go, right now. Soon, his nights were fractured into 2-hour increments, punctuated by frustrating trips to the bathroom, only to produce a weak, unsatisfying stream. He stopped going on long drives with his wife. He'd make excuses to avoid fishing trips with his son. He felt a constant, dull pressure, a sense of blockage. The worst part, the shame, the feeling that his own body was betraying him. He confessed to me, his voice barely a whisper, "Doc, I feel like I'm losing my manhood. I plan my entire day around where the nearest bathroom is. This chair. It's the only place I feel safe, because I know the toilet is just 10 steps away." Frank believed this was just an inevitable curse of getting older, a bill that comes due for every man over 60. He was wrong. My name is Dr. Alistair Vance, and for over 20 years as a urologist, I've sat across from thousands of men just like Frank. Good men, strong men, men who feel like they're fighting a losing battle against their own anatomy. Prostate issues like benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, are incredibly common. In fact, studies show that about half of men in the United States between the ages of 51 and 60 have BPH, and that number rises dramatically with age. We're told it's just part of the package of aging. But what if I told you that one of the single biggest contributors to this problem isn't your genes? What if it isn't some unstoppable force of nature? What if it's a habit? A simple daily habit that you and millions of other men are doing right now, without a second thought. A habit so deeply ingrained in our modern lives that we see it as completely benign. It's the very habit Frank thought was his refuge, the habit of sitting. Now, I'm not talking about sitting down for a meal or to read a book for half an hour. I'm talking about prolonged, uninterrupted sitting. The hours spent in the office chair, the driver's seat, and yes, the comfortable recliner. As one health channel for seniors rightly pointed out, this single habit of sitting too long can silently harm your prostate health. Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on this invisible enemy. I will explain step by step just how this seemingly innocent habit creates a perfect storm for prostate trouble. More importantly, I will give you a practical, science-backed battle plan to reclaim your health, your freedom, and your quality of life. This isn't just about avoiding nighttime bathroom trips. It's about getting your life back. First, let's quickly understand the terrain. Your prostate is a small, walnut-sized gland that sits right below your bladder and surrounds the urethra, the tube that carries urine out of your body. Think of it like a donut, with the urethra being the hole in the middle. When you're young, that donut is small and supple. The hole is wide open. Urine flows freely. As we age, for many men, the prostate begins to grow. This is BPH. It's not cancer, but as that donut gets bigger, it starts to squeeze the urethra. Suddenly, the garden hose is kinked. The flow becomes weak. The bladder has to work harder to push urine out. It gets irritated. It can't empty completely. This leads to all the classic symptoms: the weak stream, the constant urge to go, the stopping and starting, and the dreaded nighttime trips called nocturia, which rob you of restorative sleep. So, the billion-dollar question is, why does it grow? While hormones and genetics play a role, The two key drivers we can actually control are chronic inflammation and poor circulation. And this is where the chair becomes the villain. When you sit for hours on end, 3 dangerous things happen to your prostate. Number 1, you strangle its blood supply. Your body is designed for movement. Movement is life. It pumps nutrient-rich, oxygenated blood to every cell in your body. The intricate network of vessels in your pelvis is no exception. This blood flow nourishes the prostate and, just as importantly, carries away waste products. When you sit, you are putting direct, sustained pressure on this entire system. You compress the blood vessels. You reduce pelvic circulation. Imagine putting a clamp on a fuel line. Over time, the area becomes starved of what it needs and choked by its own waste. The tissue becomes unhealthy, stressed, and ripe for dysfunction. Number 2, you fuel the fires of chronic inflammation. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury. You cut your finger, it gets red and swollen. That's acute inflammation doing its job. But there's another, more sinister type: chronic low-grade inflammation. It's like a fire alarm that is stuck in the on position, quietly smoldering throughout your body for years. Scientists now understand that chronic inflammation is a primary driver of BPH. It tells the cells in the prostate to grow and multiply. And what is one of the biggest promoters of chronic inflammation? A sedentary lifestyle. Being inactive sends stress signals to your body that fuel this internal fire. More sitting means more inflammation, which can mean more prostate growth. As many health experts warn, this inflammation is a leading cause of prostate enlargement and swelling. Number 3, you increase pressure and stagnation. Prolonged sitting, especially with poor posture, allows your abdominal contents to press down on your pelvic floor. If you carry extra weight around your midsection, what some call belly fat, this effect is magnified enormously. This constant downward pressure contributes to a state of stagnation. It hinders the normal lymphatic drainage that clears out toxins and cellular debris from the pelvic area. Everything becomes congested. Think of a swamp versus a flowing river. A sedentary pelvis is a swamp, a perfect breeding ground for inflammation and tissue overgrowth. So you see, sitting isn't passive. It's an active process of starving, inflaming, and congesting the very gland you need to be healthy. It is, without a doubt, one of the most dangerous habits for a man over 60. Now, the sitting habit rarely works alone. It has 3 very powerful accomplices that magnify its destructive power. If you are doing these things in addition to sitting for long periods, you are accelerating the damage. Accomplice number 1. Chronic dehydration. Many men with BPH start drinking less water. It seems logical, right? If I drink less, I'll have to pee less. This is a catastrophic mistake. When you don't drink enough water, your urine becomes highly concentrated. It's darker, more acidic, and full of waste products. This concentrated urine is a major irritant to the lining of your bladder and your prostate. This irritation can mimic BPH symptoms and, you guessed it, contribute to more chronic inflammation. A video guide for seniors wisely identifies ignoring thirst as a key habit that wears down the prostate. You're not solving the problem. You're pouring gasoline on the inflammatory fire. Accomplice number 2. Unmanaged stress. Emotional and mental stress has a direct physical impact on your prostate. When you're stressed, your body floods with cortisol, the primary stress hormone. Cortisol, in the long run, is pro-inflammatory. But it gets more direct than that. Stress causes you to unconsciously tense your muscles. Where do many men hold their tension? In their shoulders, their jaw, and their pelvic floor. A chronically tight pelvic floor acts just like sitting. It constricts blood vessels and nerves, creating a state of high alert and dysfunction right around the prostate. It's a feedback loop. BPH causes stress, and stress makes BPH worse. Accomplice number 3, the standard Western diet. The typical diet high in red meat, processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats is an inflammation factory. It starves your body of the antioxidants and phytonutrients it needs to fight inflammation and supports the accumulation of visceral belly fat. As we discussed, this belly fat increases intra-abdominal pressure, further burdening your prostate. Every time you choose a donut over an apple, you are making a choice not just for your waistline, but for the health of your prostate. When you combine a pro-inflammatory diet with chronic dehydration, constant stress, and hours of sitting, you haven't just created a problem. You've built a prison for your prostate. But now, it's time to talk about the escape plan. The news here is incredibly good. You have the power to change this narrative. This is not about running a marathon or becoming a vegan monk overnight. It's about making small, consistent changes that lead to profound results. Here is your 4-point plan. Action number 1. Break the chains of the chair. You don't have to get rid of your chair. You just have to interrupt your relationship with it. I want you to adopt the rule of 30. For every 30 minutes you sit, you must stand or move for at least 3 minutes. Set a timer on your phone or your watch. When it goes off, stand up. Walk to the kitchen and get a glass of water. Do a few simple stretches. March in place while you watch the news. The goal is to frequently break the cycle of compression and stagnation. This simple act re-engages your muscles, boosts pelvic circulation, and tells your body you are alive and moving. Action number 2. Hydrate with intention. Aim to drink about half your body weight in ounces of water per day. If you weigh 180 pounds, that's 90 ounces, or about 2.5 liters. And here's the pro tip for managing nocturia. Front-load your hydration. Drink the majority of your water in the morning and afternoon. Start to taper off about 2 to 3 hours before you plan to go to sleep. This gives your body the hydration it needs to stay healthy and flush out irritants, while giving your bladder a chance to be relatively empty by bedtime, helping you finally sleep through the night. Action number 3. Diffuse the stress bomb. You must find a healthy outlet for stress. This is non-negotiable. For some, it's a 10-minute daily meditation or deep breathing practice. For others, it's listening to music, woodworking, gardening, or talking with a friend. The key is to consciously activate your body's relaxation response. A simple technique is the 4-7-8 breath. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold your breath for 7 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. Doing this just 5 times can have an immediate calming effect, relaxing the tension in your pelvic floor. Action number 4. Eat an anti-inflammatory diet. You don't need a diet. You need an eating strategy. Focus on adding, not just subtracting. Add more lycopene-rich foods like cooked tomatoes, watermelon, and pink grapefruit. Add more cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and kale. Add more healthy fats from avocados, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. Add more omega-3s from fatty fish like salmon and sardines. And be sure to get enough zinc, found in pumpkin seeds, a well-known prostate-friendly food. These foods are packed with the antioxidants and nutrients that fight inflammation and support prostate cellular health. Let me tell you how Frank's story ends. He came back to my office 6 months later. He had lost 15 pounds, mostly from his belly. He told me he sold his big recliner and bought a simple upright armchair instead. He said, "Doc, I broke up with my chair." He started walking with his wife every morning. He took his grandson fishing again, and for the first time in years, he didn't even think about where the bathroom was. He was sleeping 5, sometimes 6 hours straight. He wasn't just managing symptoms, he was living his life again. The sparkle was back in his eyes. He took control. This is not a story about a medical miracle. It's a story about the profound power of simple, daily habits. The same power that is in your hands right now. Your prostate health is not a foregone conclusion written in the stars of your genetics. It is a dynamic process that you influence with every choice you make. The choice to stand up. The choice to drink a glass of water. The choice to take a deep breath. The choice of what you put on your plate. Don't let a piece of furniture dictate the terms of your life. Don't resign yourself to a lesser existence. Your future self, the man who sleeps through the night, who travels without fear, who plays with his grandkids with boundless energy, is counting on the choices you make today. Take that first step. Stand up right now. Your journey back to freedom starts with that single movement. Thank you for your time. Be well and be proactive.